Boo!
Ah!
Oh my
You got
God,
me.
it's October. Happy
Oh,
October.
happy October.
It's our Halloweeny theme episode, like you wanted to call it last week. This isn't our actual Halloween episode, but it is an episode where we talk about some of the scariest movies I think I've ever seen. Would you agree?
Um, are you being sarcastic or are you serious about their?
Have I ever been sarcastic in
Oh,
my life?
yeah. Yeah, they were pretty fucking scary. Um, I actually almost fell asleep during Dracula.
So, we're talking about Dracula and we're talking about Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Uh,
Two of like the
Spoiler warning for movies that came out in the 1930s.
30. Yeah. In case you don't want them spoiled to you,
Yeah.
click away because we're
I
gonna
mean-
drop there's some major plot twists.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're talking. I think these are the two oldest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. I
I
can't think of
don't
a
think
movie
I've seen
that's
a movie
older.
that's older.
When was Citizen Kane was what, the 50s?
Yeah, no, earlier than that. It's in, I don't know.
Was it?
I haven't seen it anyway.
I've seen it. It was good. I just don't know. I think it was in the 1941. Okay.
Okay, so that's 10 years after these two.
Yeah.
So, before we get into this, I have three small bits of news I just want to touch on.
Yeah.
All Marvel related, not intentional, but they all are Marvel related. So Miss Marvel was cast. Who the actress who will be playing the MCU's version of Kamala Khan. Her name is, I don't know if it's Iman or Iman Vellani. She's like a 17-year-old newcomer actress. She's never been in anything before. And she's going to be playing Kamala Khan. And if you don't know Tommy, that's Marvel's first Muslim hero, or mainstream Muslim hero at the very least. So what's funny about this and why I wanted to bring it up is because she has a Letterboxd.
Oh, she does? That's really funny.
And so I went on her Letterboxd, and she has Captain Marvel rated 2 stars.
Oh my God. I like this girl already. We should get her on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like she would want to come on.
You're a podcast with 2 listeners.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that just happened just now, Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro.
Yeah, I heard. What happened? Like, I haven't seen all of the Spider-Man movies, but was he Electro in what movie?
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay. That
Movie
was the
which
main villain?
no one kind of, but yes.
Yeah.
Basically he gave like an absolutely abysmal villain performance. It wasn't even his fault, but like the character was just so bad.
Very badly written.
Yeah. And so I don't know, I'm kind of conflicted on this because like on the one hand I'm glad he gets a second chance, but on the other it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a meme to not have another actor take over that role, and try something new. But
I mean, I like Jamie Foxx. So I don't really.
yeah,
I'm sure
no,
he
I
can
like him
knock it out
too.
of the park.
Yeah, sure. And the final thing, actually, let me send you a picture real quick. But with Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out, pretty darn soon when the PS5 launches. They're remastering the first game, and they changed.
Already?
Yeah, and they changed Peter Parker's face from the first game to the second game.
Yeah, he's ugly in the first.
See, that's interesting because the internet is furious at
Why?
this fucking change. Well, they're saying they tried to make the new one look too much like Tom Holland, which I can see. But
I think my big thing is, why are they remastering a 2018 game?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I guess I know why, but like.
Well, I would rather they remaster it than just re-release it for the same price.
Well, I imagine they're not actually putting that much work into the remaster.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the big thing is that they're changing Peter's face. So he looks a bit younger because he's supposed to be like 23. But I
Okay.
think people are mostly mad just because they grew attached to the first face, and that's what they knew. And now they're like, no, you can't change it. And I think I prefer the first face like a little bit, just because he looks a bit older. But I also don't really care that much. It doesn't change the whole game just by changing his face, and people are starting petitions and like bullying Insomniac employees over it.
You're pulling a Frankenstein, like revolt against against.
That is the only movie with a revolt in it, so that was a great reference.
Well, yeah. So,
Yeah, but on that note, that was just three little Marvel pieces of news I wanted to touch on. Um, so
and
let's start with
also a little bit of news. I know if you
what?
knew this, Michael's pregnant.
Yes.
Um, we were
Won't say
trying
with
for
what.
very long. Yes.
Okay, do you want to start with Dracula? Because this one sucked.
Yeah. I was just very bored. um,
I think
well, I mean,
Dracula, I think Frankenstein was much better.
yeah, I thought Frankenstein was better as well.
Because Dracula, so the first thing that surprised me was like for both of these movies, I was surprised at how good the picture quality was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
looks.
it literally looked just like clear movie with a black and white filter over it. Like it didn't look
Um,
grainy or
I agree, but sometimes when I focused on like one particular thing, it was like a bit fuzzy.
oh
But
yeah, well
besides
I
that, it
noticed that
was
too.
yeah.
But
Besides that, it was like good and I don't know. I mean, I think I was just confused with. Are we? Yeah, we're not doing a spoiler thing, right?
I just no.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think the ending just confused me. It was like
Hmm.
Dracula's like, "I'm going in my chamber," and then they're like, "We have to go after him," and then he was just like asleep there, right? He's like,
Yeah, because he has to
and then
sleep in his native soil every night or he dies. So I guess he was running to that chamber so he could quickly get in his coffin, and he was just like,
let me take a
uh,
quick nap real quick.
I think he was literally just like, I guess I'll get in here, and like hopefully I'll wake up. But yeah, that was. But what I did notice, like, like there was one point where they did a close up on something on a cross necklace that the guy was given at the very beginning of the movie,
hmm
and it was just a still image. Like, could you tell
Really?
that? Like, I noticed sometimes in the movie when they did close ups, they were just still images.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Um, which is kind of funny. So, like, I think it was super interesting to watch a movie from that's this old. Um, and like, it's odd to consider that this is considered a horror movie, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for the time, just the whole thing with horror was like scary ideas, but now
Hmm.
it's like jump scares and that kind of like psychological shit. But I guess back then it was just like, ooh, vampires. That's kind of spooky, right?
Yeah.
And that was like
Well,
the whole thing.
that's what I did like about this was I liked how like really classic vampire feeling it was in parts.
hmm
Like I really liked the design of Dracula's castle, and I really liked like he was actually like able to turn into a bat, and he was like,
I just love the bat thing because it was so
oh
like
my,
obvious. It's like
the
a
bat
string.
was so I have that in my notes, stupid bat puppets and the stupid spider puppet.
Yeah, I mean, I know
It's
it was
like
1930, but it was like, wow, that like
it's so funny because like
does
they'll
not
be
age
like
well.
they'll be like that's a big bat, and it's just standing there static in the middle of the air, and they're like, ah. um,
Also, can we say there was like Count Dracula is pretty sus. He during that scene where that girl was like, "Do you want this flower?" and he just looked at her and then he like got in really close and I'm like, this will not pass today. This is not okay.
hmm I think yeah, but I think I liked the really I like how it was actually like you know how a lot of modern monster movies like they'll be like they're werewolves but they don't have any of like the traditional stuff associated with werewolves as a part of them.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of like I don't know like, okay, not to beat a dead horse, but like with Twilight, vampires can just go out in the sun and it's not really a problem for them. And they drink blood, but like they don't need to. And like, you know, they don't turn into bats, but they can like run at supersonic speed. So I like that uh, so much of this was just like the most like everything you know as a vampire is like what Dracula is.
It felt very simple. It didn't feel like I feel like a lot of the times with like modern movies, they feel the need to make these like villains or like monsters so complicated and have like so
Mm-hmm.
many weird rules. But it's like, yeah, he can't go out in the sun. He doesn't like the cross, and there's that like what was wolfsbane, that
Yeah,
plant or whatever,
which I think
herb,
is
an
like
herb.
a precursor to the garlic thing.
Yeah, that's I was thinking about because he had that thing. I'm like, oh, it's garlic. Then he's like, nope, it's this herb.
Wolfsbane.
Yeah, but I don't know. It felt like very simple, which was cool
Yeah.
because I didn't have to think about like I don't know.
Well, yeah, I kind of like that it was just because I don't know. I've seen a lot of movies about vampires and werewolves and ghosts and shit, but none of them like follow the rules of like what I know in my head are like like the wooden stake and the garlic and turning
Yeah,
into a bat and that kind of stuff, which was cool to see in this. Um, and I think specifically the part where the guy like I forget his name, but the real estate guy like comes into Dracula's castle and like
oh, Renfield.
yeah, Renfield. He walks into Dracula's castle and he's like, walking around doing this and that, and then like it's just it was funny to me because I was like, my God, he is so obviously a vampire. Like it was literally
Yeah,
like
Count Dracula was like, mm.
I don't
It's just
drink wine. It's like, hey man,
he was
that was
like,
a
oh,
really long pause.
and then he would like do something where he would like get in close to him and then like back off and then just like say something very slowly
hmm
and then like walk away, then quickly look back at him and then say like good night and then like leave. And it's like this guy is so sus and
I
he's
think that
just
was really funny when he was like, um, what happened? Oh, he like Renfield cut himself on something, and he's like, and
yeah.
Dracula was like drawn to the blood, and then the cross dangled out, and Dracula was like, ah.
It's- I actually did enjoy the movies because it was so obvious, especially Dracula, how like dated it is and
Yeah,
how like,
which I
it's
kind of
just
like.
so
Like I
funny.
enjoy
I do,
watching
yeah, yeah.
really campy, funny stuff like that.
One of the
And
things
that
that I actually, oh no, you can go.
no, you go ahead.
Okay. One of the things that that like came to my mind when I was watching this is that like one might exist, but like how have I never like seen a spoof movie of Dracula? I feel like one could be made very easily and it could be done really well. Like
I
you know
think
how
it's because
Airplane?
Dracula is kind of already a spoof movie of itself,
Really?
in some ways.
I just think because you know how like Airplane is.
Airplane
I
is a
don't know.
spoof on disaster movies.
No, there's like an actual disaster movie that Airplane is like very closely recreated to.
hmm
And I just don't know how somebody hasn't like recreated Dracula, but just have it be like jokes and like
hmm
memes the entire time. Because I feel like it'd be such an easy movie to do it to.
Definitely. I think that would be they could do that with all of these, I feel like. Like obviously I've
Oh,
only seen these
definitely.
two, but like Frankenstein definitely had some like meme worthy stuff in there. Um but also so like Dracula's expressions were so fucking goofy.
Hmm.
Did you notice this? Like it would zoom in on him and he would be like
Yeah.
I made a face at Tommy, our audio only podcast, but um I just like there were a lot of times where it's supposed to be threatening and it would zoom on his dumb dopey grin and I would not be able to take it seriously.
Yeah.
And the
Oh my God. It
box.
was just, there were so many like funny parts too. Because, do you remember when her name was Mina, right?
I know because they
And
said it about
yeah.
560,000 times.
And, after she had the things on her neck, she was like, "Oh, I don't feel so good." Then the next day, she's like, "I feel great. I'm like the night makes me feel so lively. And then she was just like saying like very obvious things that makes her sound like a vampire. And then there was that bat, and she just looked at it and she was like, "Yes, I will. Okay, thank you." And then the guy's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "What? I didn't say anything." It was just, oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, "You said I will," and she's like, "What? I will what?" It's like, I thought that.
She goes, "I am a vampire." What'd you just say? What? I didn't say anything. It's like, that's exactly
Huh?
what happened.
What do you want to drink, Mina? Blood? What was that? Nothing.
I'm sorry, water?
Tasty. But yeah, so I actually was enjoying the movie a lot, pretty much up until they went to London, and then I was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, this went somewhere else."
I
It was
just
just kind of boring and really confusing.
and I didn't really like any like Renfield. Mr. Renfield was just annoying as shit. Like in the beginning, he
Yeah.
was like, they were like, "Yeah, don't go to that castle. Like he's a vampire. He'll kill you." And he's like, "I'm gonna go." and then
No.
and then afterwards, he's just like a creep. He's just a real weirdo.
Well, Dracula bit him, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know.
And he was like not letting him drink human blood. That's why he was like weird. He was eating insects.
And rats and spiders and shit like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I brought this up earlier, but like that ending was just so anticlimactic. It was like they were literally chasing Dracula because he had Mina, and he like took her somewhere. Then he's like, "I'm gonna go to this store," and I'm like, "Okay, this is gonna end in some kind of big fight." But it's like once Dracula goes through the door, they're like locked out for like 10 seconds, then go in, and then it's like, "Oh, he's asleep. Let's kill him." And that was it. That was like literally all that happened.
It was that part was really dumb, I thought, but also right after Dracula's killed, Mina's just like better.
Yeah.
You know? Mina's just like, "Oh, I'm fine," but also we know Dracula comes back in other movies.
Dracula's daughter. I saw that.
Yeah, but also
I didn't see it, but I saw the fact that it existed.
you know this is like the first cinematic universe thing, right? These movies.
What do you mean?
Like the Dracula movies, the Frankenstein movies,
They're a cinematic universe?
the Wolfman, Invisible Man, the Mummy, they're all exist in the same universe.
I didn't know this.
And
What
they
would
cross
that
over.
be?
I think it's called the
HCU?
I think it's called the
Or is-
Universal Classic Monsters something. But yeah, so this was I find that interesting because this is not only one of like the first like movies, but it was already setting up a cinematic universe. I mean, it's not setting up, like they don't do
Is
anything
there-
that's
Is there like an Avengers like movie with all the monsters in it?
not all of them. So I was looking this up actually. It looks like the last one is Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. And that one has Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and Dracula, and a cameo appearance by the Invisible Man. But
No
the
Mummy.
the Mummy only shows up once. Or
Hasn't
the
one
Mummy
movie
only
ever.
shows. No. The Mummy has multiple movies, but it never crosses over with like any of the other monsters. But the Invisible Man crosses over with like the other
Wait,
one.
I also thought Frankenstein died. Didn't both Dracula and Frankenstein die?
Yeah, they're both like brought back or whatever. Like Frankenstein,
okay.
the next one is Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, that's
I think.
that's shitty. Bride of Frankenstein.
Well, it does like I am even though I didn't like Dracula, I would be interested to see the other ones, especially Wolfman and Mummy.
Me too. I would actually like to see that. But I don't really care for like Dracula's daughter.
Yeah, because I think there's like 26 or something total in the universe, but yeah, I'm not gonna want to watch like Invisible Man Returns or like Dracula's daughter. I think there's also a son of Frankenstein. So none of that's particularly interesting, but like I think it's cool that these movies are all in the same universe already. That's cool to me. And I'm surprised, well, they tried, but like I'd love to see like a modern version of all these that take place in the same universe again. You know.
I actually would like to see a modern version of Dracula, or like what I said before, a spoof of Dracula would be great.
Hmm.
Anything, anything just to bring it back. I feel like it'd be cool because most horror movies now are like, oh, the devil, or like people are out in the woods and they are, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
or like serial killer. I don't know. It's kind of just the same rehashing of like, you know, very basic stories. But I
Hmm.
feel like Frankenstein and like Dracula, they're just like cool, really like interesting monsters, and like the only time they're around is like when people dress up for them as Halloween and Halloween.
Yeah. That's another like everyone knows Dracula and everyone knows Frankenstein and the Wolfman and all this shit, but like I don't know anyone who's seen any of these movies. And it's funny that
That's
like
true.
these
It
movies
all
are
comes.
probably responsible for so much of what we've come to associate with those big monster characters, you know. Um, but
Can I
also
just say
like
that like, oh, you can go.
no, you can go.
Okay. I was just this is a little bit off topic, but like, can I just say Halloween is like, I'm so glad it's a holiday that exists
Yeah, me
because
too.
it's
And it's
like
only
literally
really
the
in
one.
America.
Yeah, it's like literally the one time of year where like you're encouraged to like do scary shit and like watch scary
Hmm.
movies. And I feel like besides that, a lot of people are like, oh no, I don't like scary movies and that kind of thing. But like this is the one time of year where like everybody has to kind of be
Yeah,
acclimated to it, which is just really cool.
Halloween's like probably my favorite holiday. I love
Yeah.
Christmas so much too, though. But like, Halloween is like I was talking about this the other day, but like, it's so funny that we have a holiday where like you're encouraged to be like grotesque and scary and like, Halloween is it's just so hype. Like, there's as many scary horror movies you can watch at Halloween as there are just like wholesome, fun movies set in Halloween that are good to watch. Like a Ghostbusters or a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown or something like that.
Yep.
Which
Yeah, they don't all have to be scary, but I like that they evolve around like monsters and you
yeah.
know that kind of thing.
Hmm. Plus, it's just an excuse to like eat a shit ton of candy and
Oh
drink
yeah,
apple cider and shit.
pumpkins,
Yeah.
carved pumpkins. It's just such a fun holiday.
I don't know. I'm hyped. I'm in an apartment this year, so I can like actually do stuff and decorate it and stuff. I have a We bought like a decoration of Zero, the dog from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay. I never saw it, but I know. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's has nothing to do with anything. But long story short, back to Dracula. There were some things I actually did like in this movie, which is like there was just one line that was really like ironic and I liked, and
What
it's
was
when
it?
Dracula goes up to them at the play and is like, "Oh, I'm moving in to be a neighbor," and they're like, she says, "Oh, it'll be nice to see some light in those windows finally." And I was like, "Oh, I like that. That's such a nice like the audience knows
And
they're
then he was
not."
like, "We will not be doing repairing here."
Yeah. That's so funny that like Dracula would be just like a terrible fucking landlord because he would just think everyone wants the house as shitty and dilapidated as he does.
Also, imagine being his landlord and be like, you walk in and he's like, "Dude, there's this giant fucking cobweb right here. I can't even get up the stairs." Do you remember
I'll
that?
have a couch, but you've got these two boxes of dirt. Do you really need these?
But do you remember that when Renfield gets to the house and like he's going up the stairs and there's this giant ass cobweb that's just like in the middle of the stairs and he has to like
Yeah.
open it up and then go
Well,
through.
my thought process was, wait, how did Dracula get through that?
Yeah, no, I thought that too, but I don't know.
um,
He must be like the worst housemate. Like imagine him in college. And just like
you gonna think of something?
I don't know. I was thinking of I don't know. I kind of lost track.
um, but another thing was like I noticed in a couple scenes that there was a lamp and it made a shadow on the wall that just looked like a bat, which I thought was cool.
Really, I didn't
Maybe it
see
was
it.
accidental, but
Mm.
I noticed it and I thought it was cool if that was something they thought of. You opened your mouth
Yeah,
like you
and
were
then
gonna say. Oh, there you go.
I What? um, yeah, no, I remember remember when he smashed the mirror too, because he was
Hmm.
just so like anal about every. What? Do you know why he smashed the mirror?
Because it was a giveaway that he was a vampire.
Okay, I feel like it was already pretty obvious.
No
This
shit. Well,
giant ass cape.
he dresses. Yeah, he's literally wearing a giant cape and has like the slicked back hair. And it's like, but yeah, I actually liked that the mirror was what cued them in when they
Mm.
like looked in the mirror and saw he wasn't there. I thought that was another like a classic vampire thing that people just don't do anything with.
Yeah, are there any good vampire movies like besides Dracula that are like recent-ish?
I I really can't think of anything like
That's too bad.
because there's a bunch of like Dracula reboots that all suck ass.
Oh, there are a lot of Dracula reboots.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Well, Universal's been like trying to start a monster universe like 6 times again. They've been trying to redo it, you know, and they just keep fucking like they made this movie called Dracula Untold. No one liked it, so they were like, okay, fuck that. Then they made The Mummy with Tom Cruise. No one liked that, so they were like, all right. And then I think they're finally getting it right because they made The Invisible Man this year,
Oh, that was the. I
which was
remember
actually
seeing.
really good.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a Universal Pictures movie.
Mm-hmm. So if they keep doing monster movies in that vein, which they are, they're already making a Wolfman movie with the same director. Um, but like that'll be cool to see like a modern takes on all of them that are still effective at being horror movies. Because Invisible Man, like it's good, it's able to be a horror movie pretty well.
I will
Um,
definitely watch it. Didn't it come out like last year or whatever,
this year,
or this year?
it's a
This year,
2020
yeah.
movie, so you can watch it for our New Year's episode.
Hmm. I still need to see some more 2020 movies. But anyways, back on topic. Um,
Before Michael yells at me.
um, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't like I was
Yeah,
just. It
Dracula.
also could have been I was just very sleepy, and I was watching this movie, and I'm like, this isn't helping. It's like it wasn't
Yeah.
slow, but it didn't have much happening. If
Well,
that
no,
makes sense.
I think it is kind of slow. It was like an hour and 14 minutes long, but it felt like a lot longer than
It felt
that.
like two.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just I think it was really boring in the middle. The ending's stupid, but
The ending was so stupid.
the
Yeah, the
beginning
beginning
is
was actually
fun,
pretty cool.
and I think there's some fun stuff to like, be like, "Oh, that's a vampire thing" throughout the movie. But
Yeah, like I'm still glad I watched it. Like I've never seen Dracula or Frankenstein before, and I'm glad I've
mhm.
seen it, especially now that it's October 1st. It fits the Halloweeny theme.
Boo.
Boo.
No, you're supposed to go,
Yeah,
"Ah,
I'm gonna give this movie a boo though.
oh, it's Halloween." So we have to
Yeah.
change our bad or Chad
To
readings
boo
to
or
boo
whoa.
or oh yeah, boo or woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a boo too because I was fucking bored out of my mind for most of
Boo
this movie.
2, A Medea's Halloween. Isn't that what the movie's called?
Yeah,
Boo 2. Yeah, I'm
that
giving
should have
this
been our
movie a boo.
Halloween episode.
We could. We're doing Ghostbusters, I think, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
no,
Still haven't seen it. I'm excited.
I'm good with doing Ghostbusters instead of Medea. I think
Yeah, me too. Isn't Fousey Tube in the
is he
Medea? It's something like that.
really? You know what we should watch?
Yeah.
We should watch Airplane Mode, the
What's
Logan
that?
Paul movie that's a parody of Airplane.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
How do you make a parody of Air? I mean, I'm glad he
I think
knows the
it's like the
movie.
third or fourth lowest rated movie on Letterboxd.
Holy shit. Why did he make a parody of Airplane?
I
That
don't
makes
know.
no sense. I'm
Well, it's
really
not even a
excited. Is it
parody.
on?
It's just supposed to be like in the same vein, but the
It's supposed
comedy
to be
is
funny.
the comedy is just like 2012 Vine,
Uh,
not like funny Viners either, like the annoying ass Viners.
mm-hmm. Like where pretty much all the humor revolves around like dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
or twerking.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna have to watch that. I also still haven't seen
You
Trolls.
haven't seen Trolls.
Yeah. That's
loyal
probably
viewers.
I'm yeah. All the viewers have been adamant and
They
on my
have
ass about
not
that.
stopped emailing me.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We get hundreds, if not thousands, of emails each day from our 2 viewers.
50 each every day.
This is their full-time job,
Yeah.
and
But you know what? The 2 viewers are us.
me and Michael.
I'm emailing your email like, when is Tommy gonna watch Trolls? And you're emailing my email. Moving on.
Yeah, let's go to Frankie.
So Frankenstein was definitely better. I would say I actually liked this movie.
I also did like it. I thought it was thought it had more depth than Dracula. That makes sense.
It definitely did, because it felt like it had something to say. Because we do be living in a society.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be like Joker where it has a message?
So I like that this movie opened with a warning. Did you notice that?
Yes. Yeah. They're
And
just
he was like, "Oh, it's gonna be crazy," you know.
I mean, I guess for the time, it might have been a little like, I don't know.
I don't know if
a
that
kid
was
dies.
like actually meant to be a warning, but like, I like that it was in there. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I also thought that was cool.
And then did you notice in the opening credits they put next to the monster a question mark for who was playing him?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's Boris Karloff. Do you know it? Do you know who that is? He plays the Grinch in the animated Grinch special.
Really?
He's the voice of the Grinch. Yeah.
Huh.
So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah,
the Grinch could be part of the cinematic universe.
Yeah. Oh, that's another piece of news. They just announced today there's going to be a Dr. Seuss animated cinematic universe.
Oh my god.
Starting with the Cat in the Hat, then a spin-off movie for Thing 1 and Thing 2, and then the Places You'll Go movie.
I mean, I guess that's cool, but also like I don't know. Why can't
it's cool if they like don't cross over? Like
I don't know. I also feel like this like Dr. Seuss has just been done way too many times.
And no one can do it better than the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie.
Exactly.
I mean, why even try?
Every time I think of Dr. Seuss, I always think of like those people during Halloween that are like best friends, and they dress up as Thing 1 and Thing 2, and they think they're so like funny.
At Universal, they would literally sell like T-shirts that were like Thing 1, Thing 2, Thing 3, Thing 4, Thing 5 for like families that were on it to buy all matching T-shirts. Sorry, I just bumped.
If I ever do that with my family, if I have a family, please stop the podcast with me and never talk to me again.
I've said that to my friends on multiple occasions. If I'm ever like in a relationship where I'm wearing like those matching sweatshirts that are like, she's mine and he's
I'm
mine.
with her, and it's like has the area
king and queen. Like, please just fucking shoot me because I'm not in a good mental space and I want out.
That's my help. That's my call for help.
Tommy, I totally forgot. Wait, let's see if I can get it. Look at my socks. What? You can't see. You can't see.
Oh, it's bat socks?
The Dracula.
Oh, they're Dracula socks.
Yeah.
Wow. It fits the theme.
I know.
My foot is bleeding, so that fits the theme because blood and Dracula.
Why is your foot bleeding?
The nail like came off weirdly.
How?
I think it was outside. Did you say ow? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Well, now I'm invested.
Basically, I think I just like stubbed my toe weirdly, and the nail like kind of came off. But anyways, Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein. So, kind of like Dracula, I just liked a lot of like the aesthetic choices in this movie, like the design of the lab, the design of the monster. You know, I think it looked classic. Like the big windmill lab was just cool. You know?
Yeah, how it was like, just like it kind of felt like a castle, and like it was like thunder and lightning outside, and also Frankenstein himself just was like literally fit the description as a mad scientist.
Yeah.
Did Frankenstein die at the end? Not his. I know his monster did, but did he?
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
No, he lived,
Okay.
which is different from the book. So yeah, that's the other thing. This movie is based on a play, which is based on a book, and I've read the book for English class, not just for fun, but it's just really different in a lot of ways.
It's very different than the book.
Yeah, and I see why she didn't show us this in class. Because first of all, the monster does not look like that in the book, and also like what happens in the book is like the monster is created, and Victor Frankenstein like immediately goes, "Oh shit, the fuck did I do?" And he just pieces on his like on his like spawn, and the monster's like left to develop entirely by himself without a father, and that's why he's like angry and mean. But then
Okay.
the monster eventually learns to like speak and to like is able to have like a full conversation with Victor later on in the book.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused because I thought that like in the story, the whole like one of the biggest points of it was that the mob was like very angry against the mob like mistreated Frankenstein. I thought
Yeah,
that was like the point of
I don't
it.
think the mob exists in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I
Can you
think
give me like a rundown, like some of the biggest differences between the book and the movie?
in the book what happens is similarly Frankenstein or the monster kills a young girl, but I think she's related to Victor himself in some way. I don't really remember this book, so if I'm getting details wrong, don't come to my house and fucking kill me. I read this book in sophomore year of high school or junior year. But so that happens, and then I believe the monster also kills Elizabeth, and that forces Victor, who's in the movie, his name is Henry, which they also changed, but um, Victor goes out to like kill the monster, and God, I really don't remember, but like something happens where like he doesn't end up killing the monster, and Frankenstein ends up dying. But the monster feels like remorseful about it and is like sad, and then the monster kills himself
Oh,
because he's like, even though he was like so mean and bad and flawed, he was my only father figure or like my only family. But what else does happen is like the monster's walking through town and like people are pointing out how hideous he is. Um, so that, yeah, I mean, it's not like completely different, but a lot of things are like uh very different. Because I guess the
yeah. I
monster in the
mean,
books is less monster-y.
yeah. I guess I always. I mean, I might have been wrong, but I thought like this movie or the whole Frankenstein story was not to portray Frankenstein as like an actual monster, but
Mm-hmm.
to portray like the mob or like the people who hated Frankenstein as the monster.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get that from the movie. It was kind of just like, yeah, he killed a girl.
Mm-hmm. Now he's trying
Um,
to kill Elizabeth.
and then yeah, he was literally just killing everybody. I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're doing the right
Yeah.
thing.
But I did feel bad for the monster, at least in the beginning, when they were like
They're
just
just beating
waving
the shit out
fire
of
at
him.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why did they start waving fire?
It was the hunchback guy.
Yeah,
He started doing it.
yeah, he
I
was a
don't
little
know.
prick.
Yeah, he was. But I liked also the character of Dr. Frankenstein. I thought was pretty good. He was very like sinister. I felt like in the first half, where he was like, "Fuck off! It's my work. It's my life's work."
He did straight up like change in the first half and the second. He was just
Mm-hmm.
a different person.
In
Once
the
he ran
second
off
half,
with
he's like
Elizabeth,
soft boy.
he is such a yeah, soy boy. Um, what is a soy boy again? I've heard of it.
I don't know.
Okay, I thought it
I've been
was
called that like 1,000 times. I don't really know.
yeah. Who knows? I hope it's not
Leave a
something
comment.
like mean. Yeah, if you know what that means, I've heard of it, and I always assume it's like the same thing as like simp or soft boy, but it's
Yeah.
probably not.
Mm.
um, anyways, yeah, like he was weird, like he was just complete mad scientist in the beginning, and then he's
Mm-hmm.
like No. And then just like that's it.
Yeah. Which is kind of what happens in the book too, though. To be fair, because he's like, "Oh my god, I created life. Bye," and then he like goes on and lives like a normal life until the monster comes and kills him, or not kills him, but kills Elizabeth. Um, but I like the design of Frankenstein, the bolts in the neck, all that stuff that became really iconic, like his flat head. I like
Yep.
that, he was
They
pieced
were
together from corpses and
also
yeah.
I like how they were like, oh yeah, Frankenstein, he has the strength of 10 men, while 3 of them were pinning him down. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's like, wait, he still has 7 men on you.
Yeah. It was like, all right. But
But
also another thing to be brought up, the fact that the normal brain and the criminal brain
yeah,
was switched.
which was interesting because I was like, that seems like a very 1930s thing to have. Like, oh, this is the brain of a crazy person. This is the brain of a normal person. You know, I just
Yeah.
feel like I don't know the science behind it. Like, I don't know if our brains would actually look that outwardly different, like the guy was saying. But
I don't think they would either. I think there's stuff like within,
yeah,
but who knows? I'm not like a neurologist
yeah.
or some shit like that.
hmm But I did think that was an interesting element to put on it. But I almost thought it would have been better to have the normal brain in it, so it could be like a true nature versus nurture kind of thing. Because I guess like
Yeah, I didn't really understand the point with making the like if like Frankenstein was given a criminal brain
mhm.
and then I don't know.
If we're
It's
assuming
just
it's the
kind of
brain's fault, then it's not really his fault.
yeah. So then why
Because
are
the
they?
book is very clear that like the reason the monster turned out the way he did is because Victor ignored him.
Yeah,
You know?
and I remember um, Doctor Weinfeld, I think it was called something like that.
Mhm.
He literally like told Henry slash Victor. He's like, yeah, you stole the wrong brain, and then instead of like this like having an impact on the story, Henry just goes like, I think that's fine. That was it. That was literally it.
Yeah,
He's like,
it's
yeah,
just
it'd
like this
probably be
big
fine.
thing that they're stealing the brain, and then the guy who they stole the brain from is like, "You stole
It's
the
like,
wrong brain." He's like not even mad that they stole one. He's mad that they stole the wrong one.
I'm just like, that could like fuck up, and he's like,
Yeah.
you're
But
worried too much.
yeah, and I think that the Boris Karloff, his like physical performance that he had going for the monster, like the way he like lumbers around and stuff, it's quite good. I thought,
Yeah,
very. I was gonna say very Frankenstein's monster, but like I guess this is the movie that gave us all those things that we have
yeah.
associated
This
with it.
is like when you think of like Frankenstein or like Dracula, people like you immediately get the same exact picture of what these movies like portrayed Frankenstein's
Mm-hmm.
monster and Dracula as, and like it's just interesting to see how like now if I ask some random person like, oh, can you like give me a description of Frankenstein's monster or Dracula off the top of your head, they'll give one that is very very similar
Disease.
to
Yeah.
these movies. It's all because of these movies.
The only thing I wonder about is like, where did the green come from?
I
Because
don't
this
know.
movie's in black and white. Like, but it
Yeah,
was probably in the posters or something that he was green.
yeah. Hold on, I'm actually gonna look it up because we did watch this on Peacock, by the way, one of the
Yeah.
best streaming services. Um,
They have so much.
yeah, so much garbage. No, it's
Yeah.
weird because I mean it's free, so I can't get mad.
Right.
But
If you want to watch
um,
these movies, they're all free on Peacock. Well, they're not all free, but you can get a free trial to watch the ones that aren't.
so yeah, on the thumbnail, he's green, and on like Son of Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, he's just straight up
So it's a
green.
promotional thing.
Yeah, I think he's meant to be green,
Okay.
but
That's
like,
interesting.
you know,
hmm The kind of last little note I wrote down here was, remember I talked about that one line in Dracula I actually really liked. There was
yeah,
one in Frankenstein that was kind of similar, where they're at Victor or not Victor Henry's wedding. They're toasting, and he's like the father says like, "Here's to the son of the House of Frankenstein." Or the next son of the House of Frankenstein, or whatever, and like if Henry's face is like really guilty looking, because you could tell that he feels like the monster is like in some ways his son because he brought it to life. It's his
Oh,
responsibility that he
I didn't see that.
neglected. Yeah, I thought that
Because
was a
Henry
really
was like
cool
all the
part.
way in the back in that, right?
Yeah, but there's a close up on his face where he's like, he like, oh,
I bet.
is it hot in
Man
here?
outside.
But yeah, no, I thought that was a cool line and a cool kind of that touched more on like the book themes, obviously, but still pretty relevant to the movie. I feel like.
Yeah, I thought this movie just had a lot more depth than Dracula.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, it wasn't perfect. I wasn't like head over heels about this movie either.
No,
I think
definitely
both
not.
of these were fine. Dracula was a bit boring and didn't really make sense, but I just still think they are cool because they're like such classics.
Well, yeah, these movies are like the kind I would want to watch on like a big projector in someone's
Oh yeah,
backyard at a Halloween
yep,
party. You know?
exactly. But honestly, for like a Halloween-esque kind of movie, this wasn't. I don't feel like this is the movie that really satisfies my Halloween itch.
Oh no,
If that
that's why
makes
it's not our
sense.
Halloween episode.
Yeah,
Purposely.
I remember years ago I watched Silence of the Lambs on Halloween and gave out candy to people that were coming to my house, and that definitely satisfied an itch because that is a scary movie, really good and scary movie.
Yeah, it's definitely scary, but it doesn't give me Halloweeny vibes. We're gonna talk
Mm,
about movies that give us big Halloween vibes in our episode at the end of the month, but that's kind of a sneak peek. I think Nightmare Before Christmas does that for me. It does that for me. Ghostbusters does that for me. All that kind of stuff.
can't think of many movies that do that for me, but I know there are some.
Well, you have weeks to think about it. But
Exactly.
oh yeah, and then the angry mob burns down the windmill lab with the monster inside. Um,
Yeah, it's a sad death for the monster.
it
He
is
kind of just
sad.
gets trapped under that like piece of wood that falls on him. And he's like, "Well, this is it."
Well, yeah, and I was thinking about that. Like, man, that's the one thing he's like afraid of is fire, and he's like completely surrounded by it.
But no, he stopped being afraid. Remember, because Frankenstein, Henry, he came over to the monster with the torch, and then he like started waving it in his face, and the
Oh, right, and he
monster's
grabbed
like,
it.
he kind of just like slapped it aside.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when the monster kills the little girl, that kind of shocked me.
That
Not like
was, yeah,
it was kind of like Dracula's unintentionally goofy moments. It was pretty unintentionally goofy, where like they're throwing stones and or they're throwing flowers, and the little girl's like, "Look, throw this one," and then he just picks her up and chucks her into the river, and it's like, I didn't think she died. Like I thought,
well,
like
also
it.
she didn't. I will say, the parents should have taught her how to swim. If she lives right next to that lake, and she was like thrown in like a few feet.
She was also old enough where she needs to know how to swim.
Yeah, I can't like look. Frankenstein shouldn't have thrown her in. Easy to say that, but
Wow, way to victim blame.
I'm just saying. I feel like if she had learned, I just don't understand. If your house is like an inch away from a lake, you should probably teach your daughter how to swim so
Mhm.
that she can avoid not drowning.
When the monster throws her in.
Yeah, when the monster. But no, that was actually a fun moment. Well, not fun, but
It was hilarious.
that was probably the one part of the movie that I enjoyed the most because I felt like that was the most real aspects we got from the monster, and it was
Mm.
just like this very like nice girl being like, "Oh, I'll play with you," even though he looks like a fucking
Hmm.
monster, and and then they just started like throwing in flowers and like, "Oh, look, they float," and then the moment he like looked at her, I'm like, "Oh no, I know it's coming."
But I do wonder, like, did he know he was doing anything wrong, or did he think?
No, he did because remember after that he like looked at the screen and he was like very like shaken up and he started running away.
Hmm.
So he knew that he did something wrong, but I think he realized.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, like
afterwards.
in the moment, did he think like, "Oh, haha, I'm gonna throw her in," like because like his brain like is new? Did he just not like understand that yet, or was he
Yeah.
genuinely trying to kill her? Is what I guess what I'm asking.
I don't think he was trying to kill her.
Yeah,
But
that's what
also, the thing I was thinking about like that exact scene is something that I could 100% see happening in like a romance movie, like where they're both like throwing things in the river, and then they're just like playing, and then one person throws the other person in as like a joke.
And they're like, "I'm all wet now."
Exactly.
You, I love you.
And then the other person like pulls them into the water.
Yeah.
And then this is we did get this from the script of the original Frankenstein. This part was in it, but then they took it out.
They had to cut it.
Yeah, because they realized it was with a young girl.
Because the girl's parents were like, "What the fuck?" I like the part where it's like really iconic stuff that comes from these movies, like
It's
when he's
alive.
like, yeah, exactly. I like that. I just like seeing that because I've heard it so many times, and I've probably
the
heard
moment
the audio.
The moment when he said it's alive, I'm like, oh, I know what's happening. It's like this scene.
The scene where it's like, "It's alive," like
because that has been done in so many different like TV shows that like like kind of spoof on that one scene where they're like, it's alive. It's been done before, so it's fun to like see the actual scene.
Definitely. Ultimately, I say Frankenstein is a woo for me because maybe I'll watch it again one day around Halloween time. I didn't hate watching this. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna give.
I don't care which one you give. That's why we have the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was. I'll give it a woo, but not a strong woo.
That's fine. I don't care. It's not like I'm very attached to this movie from the 1930s in the 4:3 aspect ratio.
I watched it on my computer, and it was fun.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for. Do you have anything to talk about? Recommendations? Anything?
Silence of the Lambs. That was good. Watched that again a few days ago. I can't think of many recommendations off the top of my head. Yeah, can't think of any.
Yeah, me neither, really.
Actually, you know what? I've been watching a show. I'm watching Full Metal Alchemist. That's a good show. So maybe consider watching that.
Me?
Anybody? Anybody who's listening?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't really have any this week either, because these were the two movies I watched this week.
Yep, these were the two movies that I watched. They're fine, but I feel like I need that Halloween itch to be scratched. If that makes any sense. I did buy. Here's a little advice: don't go overboard on the candy. I bought candy last week. I bought the huge thing of Sour Patch watermelon, like the big bag. Yeah. And I realized like a week after that I was like just straight up addicted. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I had to give it away.
Aww. And with that, thanks for listening, everyone. Both of you.
Yeah.
Tommy and Michael. Me. Join us next week. We'll talk about something else.
Yeah.
Bye.